Oh, we off in this thing, the gun line, do a reaction right quick to who really created hip hop. Let me see who video this is. Authentic Life. Okay, authentic. I got you. Alright, Authentic Life video right here. Who created hip hop? Alright, let's see what he's talking about. Let's go.
Authentic.
You believe Fat Joe said hip hop was Puerto Rican and black? Whoa! My God, the world changed on me, nigga. I'm like, yo.
Welcome to today's episode where we tackle a complex and deeply important issue: the ongoing attempts by various groups to rewrite the history of hip-hop's origins. Hip-hop, a genre and culture with undeniable global influence, was birthed from the struggles, creativity, and resilience of foundational Black Americans. Yet today, there's a growing trend of other nationalities, Caribbean, Latino, and Jamaican communities, attempting to lay claim to its founding. This episode is about separating fact from fiction, uncovering the truth, and shining a light on the cultural roots of hip-hop. Understanding hip-hop's birthplace. The story of hip-hop begins in the Bronx during the late 1960s and early 1970s, a time when marginalized Black communities were facing systemic racism, economic disenfranchisement, and social upheaval.
And understand, the whole point of us even creating or even caring about any of this is because they make it seem as though none of this stuff ever happened. You know, we already did this stuff, and then people come behind us with recreating something we already did, and then they sell us what we already did back to us using our stuff. Like, it's weird, but we don't own it. Like, it wouldn't matter. It would be dope if we owned all of the, you know, the radio waves that's got anything to do with hip hop, or that's got anything to do with anything that we dominate. If we just owned it, that way the money can stay in our community. You know what I'm saying? But that's just not how they don't want it to work like that for some reason. I'm starting to see the reason. Look like we might get into some of that. Let's go.
From these conditions emerged a culture that expressed defiance, resilience, and artistry through music, dance, and fashion. Foundational Black Americans, descendants of enslaved Africans in the United States, were the architects of this culture. Key elements of hip-hop, rapping, DJing, breakdancing, graffiti art, and the overall aesthetic didn't materialize out of thin air. They evolved from the cultural practices of Black Americans, whose contributions to art and music stretch back generations. Gospel, blues, jazz, and funk laid the foundation for hip-hop's sound, while the Black oral tradition influenced the lyrical and storytelling aspects of rapping. Even hip-hop fashion drew from the style of Black youth in New York City.
I'm saying, if y'all just look at it, like, look how creative we were, what them girls was doing when they was dipping down and jumping up. Like, that's a lot. Like, right now the girls don't do nothing but just walk around. You know what I'm saying? Look at that man. Look how suited he is. The men don't do nothing now but just put on a shirt and some shorts. We used to be looking dapper, like very clean.
Who set trends that would later define the culture globally. The push for rewriting history. Despite this well-documented history, there has been a concerted effort by some Caribbean, Jamaican, and Latino groups to position themselves as co-creators, or even sole creators of hip-hop. These claims often center around specific figures, such as DJ Kool Herc, a Jamaican immigrant who is frequently credited with pioneering hip-hop DJing techniques. While Kool Herc's contributions are significant, they do not negate the broader cultural context in which hip-hop was born.
Brown is the first MC for us, the first B-boy as well, the first hip-hop.
Nobody to me has ever come with that type of soul and strength since James Brown. You know what I mean? He's another one that has an authentic strength that is everlasting, and nobody in all these years has been able to top it.
Say the long hair, hip, and the afro black, we all get together across the track. And they
His moves, everything about him was hip-hop. Entrepreneur, had his own record company, production company, all of it. And that caused people to mimic him and imitate him. And that started the first MC rhyme. Stomp your feet in the jungle, brother. clap your hands, slump your feet. Yeah.
What do you think of music around today, especially things like hip hop and Run DMC and the Beastie Boys?
Well, those are poor copies, well, not say poor copies, but they're copies of what they thought I was doing in the 60s, like let the brother rap. What they're doing is things I did years ago.
Yeah, things that you did years ago. James Brown, brother, man, one of the most creative ones that we've ever come across, ever. You know, inspired so many, you know, in his time. He inspired the Michael Jacksons and, you know, all of that around that era, you know, Prince and all of them. They was inspired by James Brown up there on that stage, doing everything, putting on a show for the people, you know, showing what the human body can do, showing what the human voice can do when you have a unique voice, showing what the human mind can do when you sit up and you come up with a song and this tells a story. You know, it's deep, man. It's deep.
Similarly, some in the Latino community point to their involvement in breakdancing and graffiti art as evidence of their role in creating hip-hop.
Mm-hmm. For all you suckers out there trying to talk about Latinos.
Look how crazy Liz coming here calling everybody suckers, man. Y'all don't even respect us in our own shit for all you suckers. Damn, Crazy Liz. I mean, that's your name, Crazy Liz. Okay, Crazy Liz. All right, let's see what you got to say, Crazy Liz.
Role in creating hip-hop.
For all you suckers out there trying to talk about Latinos not being in hip-hop at the early stages, come on, man.
You come on, man. Well, damn, why can't we have what we started? Y'all jumped in and joined us, cool. That don't mean that y'all, come on, man. We can track back the history of it. Even the history that we can actually track back, y'all don't want to give us. Damn. You know, we'll tell y'all, you know, that the people all over this earth is melanated. And it was one kind of person here. And, you know, then y'all don't want to believe that, you know. Okay, cool. We can prove this. Man, wasn't no Latino. If y'all was at the beginning and started, where were y'all at? All I know is black artists. You know what I'm saying? Fat Joe, what's my nigga name? Big Pun, them boys came in late. What you talking about, dog?
While it's true that Latinos were active participants in hip-hop's early days, participation is not the same as creation. The cultural framework of hip-hop was already established by foundational Black Americans before these groups became involved. DJ Kool Herc, often hailed as one of the founding fathers of hip-hop, immigrated to the Bronx from Jamaica in 1967. His role in popularizing the breakbeat technique, isolating and extending the instrumental breaks of funk records, was undeniably groundbreaking. However, it's important to contextualize his contributions. Herc's breakbeat technique relied heavily on funk records created by Black American artists like James Brown. The energy and rhythm of these records provided the foundation for what would become hip-hop's sound. Furthermore, Herc's style of DJing drew from traditions already present in Black American music, such as the call and response dynamic found in gospel and the rhythmic storytelling of blues and jazz. Herc adapted these existing elements into a new context, but he did not create them. Latino contributions, involvement versus invention. The Latino community, particularly Puerto Ricans in New York, has also staked claims to hip-hop's origins, citing their involvement in graffiti art and breakdancing. While their participation in these elements of hip-hop is undeniable, it's essential to differentiate between contributing to a culture and creating it. Graffiti, for instance, predates hip-hop and was practiced by various groups across New York City. However, when graffiti became associated with hip-hop, it was through the lens of Black cultural expression. Similarly, breakdancing, while popular among Latino youth, evolved from dance styles rooted in Black traditions, such as the Charleston and James Brown's dynamic stage performances. Jamaican influence, a misunderstood narrative. The claim that Jamaican culture gave birth to hip-hop often centers on the practice of toasting, where DJs speak rhythmically over music. While toasting may have influenced the style of early hip-hop emceeing, it is not synonymous with rapping. The lyrical complexity, storytelling, and social commentary that define rap are deeply rooted in the Black American oral tradition. Foundational Black Americans have a long history of using spoken word and rhythm as forms of expression. From the griots of West Africa to the poetry of the Harlem Renaissance and the spoken word performances of the Civil Rights Movement, the cultural lineage of rapping is distinctly Black American. Toasting may have been a minor influence, but it cannot overshadow the centuries-old traditions that gave rise to modern rap.
And clear and understanding that Kool Herc wasn't even the first. From my understanding, Kool Herc was not the first to extend the breakdown parts of the song or loop the breakdown parts of the song. He wasn't the first to do that. From my understanding, the R&B DJs, disco DJs out in New York City or wherever, disco DJs, the R&B DJs, they was already extending breaks.
And then you had your sound system working in New York from up to then.
No, I was, attending junior high school.
Yeah. I see.
I was around 13 years old back then.
Okay. But then you started your sound system.
I started to go to parties when I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And around 18, 19, that's when I started to experiment with my own sound system. As far as, building a sound system.
When you and your crew were playing out, there were several sound systems. No. The sound systems, the Jamaican sound systems were very prevalent in the tri-state area. Were you aware of those crews? And did they play with you at all in the clubs?
No, never. No.
So African Love, Downbeat,
but never was in the in a space that they was at. Or no. Mm-mm.
No way. No shape, form, or fashion. Okay.
I could tell you for a sound system is on the U.S. side that the Smith brothers, respect them. Soul Brothers from out of Brooklyn, should play at Nell Gwen's, respect them.
That's what I'm talking
I don't know if it's a Jamaican crew, but I know the Soul Brothers play at Nell Gwen's at 42nd Street. And they have brothers like Plummer, LaBoya, Flowers, and the Disco Twins. And them boys was really into technology and big, heavy sound.
So other than like the weather and the environment, what about the culture? How hard was it for you to get into the culture?
I could say one thing, it wasn't fashionable being a Jamaican at one point, was it?
Right.
And I never had my culture, really, I never did. Well, I was getting Americanized though.
The danger of historical revisionism. The attempts to attribute hip-hop's creation to other groups are not just a matter of misplaced credit, they are part of a broader trend of erasing and minimizing Black contributions to global culture. This erasure perpetuates harmful stereotypes that diminish the agency, creativity, and resilience of foundational Black Americans.
Yeah.
By reframing hip-hop as a multicultural creation, these narratives dilute the significance of its origins in Black American struggles. Hip-hop was born from a specific historical and social context, shaped by the experiences of Black Americans who used music, dance, and art to resist oppression and assert their identity. Ignoring this context undermines the very essence of what hip-hop represents. Reclaiming the narrative. As we move forward, it's crucial to reclaim the narrative around hip-hop's origins and ensure that the contributions of foundational Black Americans are recognized and celebrated. This doesn't mean dismissing the roles of other groups who participated in hip-hop's evolution. Instead, it means placing their contributions within the appropriate context, acknowledging their involvement without erasing the foundational work of Black Americans. To do this, we must 1. Educate ourselves. Learn the true history of hip-hop, from its roots in Black American culture to its evolution as a global phenomenon.
Right.
Second challenge. Misinformation. Speak out against narratives that misattribute hip-hop's creation to other groups. 3. Celebrate Black contributions. Honor the foundational Black Americans whose creativity and resilience gave birth to hip-hop. Conclusion. Hip-hop is more than just music or dance. It's a cultural movement that emerged from the lived experiences of foundational Black Americans. Attempts to rewrite its history not only disrespect its creators, but also rob future generations of a full understanding of its significance. As we close today's episode, let's remember that preserving the truth about hip-hop's origins is about more than assigning credit. It's about honoring the legacy of a culture that has changed the world. while staying true to its roots. Thank you for tuning in, and let's continue to celebrate and protect the history of hip-hop, because the story of hip-hop is, at its core, the story of Black America.
Some falsities right there. It's not about being Black radicals or not liking people that don't look like them or, who are not American. It's about honoring and preserving the things that foundational Black Americans have done. And many times people come in on the backs of what we have done as far as the civil rights struggle. These people flee their countries and then come here on the backs of what we do, but with a subconscious disdain for us. And some of them, not all of them, but some of them will work to undermine us. And those are the ones we call tethers, okay? And so when somebody who has benefited from the foundational Black American community, as far as your whole lifestyle comes from us, like you're famous because we gave you the thumbs up.
Right.
I've said this before, Black people decide who sits at the cool table. And if we didn't want Fat Joe to sit at the cool table back then, he wouldn't have sat there.
Hell nah.
The original authentic.
Nah, that's real. That's real. And, good video, authentic, man. You know what I'm saying? That shit was good. They bugging out, son. They bugging out. It's like everybody do that with us with everything, though. It's not just with hip hop. It's not just with, that genre of life, man. I see it all around with everything in life. It was sports, it's like they try to kick us out slowly and then they act like we never did it or we ain't good at it. I remember there was a whole lot more melanated folks in baseball. There's a lot more of us playing baseball. I remember, basketball at its height, at its best in the 90s when the ball bounced as high as it can bounce. I remember that was us. And then how it's going down and how they're switching it up, you know what I'm saying? Football, I remember when all of the skill positions was us. Except, every once and again you had, they wouldn't let us play quarterback, you know what I'm saying? They didn't want us to play quarterback. Now, it's funny how, it's funny how that shit works. It's funny how that works, but yeah, man, they did it in hip hop. I personally was upset with this video a little bit. Not with this personal video, but when I saw Busta Rhymes, talk about how, they didn't really talk about it on this video like that, but I saw him do it. Where he was talking about, hip hop started in the Caribbeans and shit. And the reason I ain't like that, Busta Rhymes, is because, my nigga, all that shit, scenario, all that music you was on, I never knew you was Jamaican, bro. Never, ever. You had locks. Okay, what the hell does that mean? That means you're Jamaican? Like, come on, man. You spoke your lyrics and it was clear as a motherfucking fool. So yeah, nigga, nah. Lean to the side, don't fall. All right, peace, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm about this thing. J-Bo, another good video, another reaction. Who really created hip hop? Like I say, authentic life. Real dope channel. Y'all go check it out. I subscribe. So y'all subscribe. And we out. Peace.